The internet is losing its mind over leaked texts that allegedly show Erika Kirk secretly converting to Judaism. Almost overnight, these messages have ignited a firestorm of speculation, rumor, and debate. Could this private choice explain why Erika has been one of the loudest pro-Israel voices in conservative politics? Or why millions of dollars have flowed through Turning Point USA in ways the public can't fully trace? The implications are massive. And this isn't just about politics. It's about power, influence, and secrets that could change the way millions view a rising political figure. But that's just the start. What comes next will make you question everything you thought you knew about Erika Kirk, TPUSA, and the forces swirling behind the headlines. Americans began circulating late last year, claiming that Erika Kirk secretly converted to Judaism sometime after Charlie Kirk's sudden death. The moment they appeared online, the reaction was explosive. Social media exploded with posts asking, "Wait, did she actually convert?" But the conversation didn't stop there. Within hours, it escalated into a broader discussion. Why has Erika been such a vocal advocate for Israel? Could these messages provide context to her sudden public prominence and influence within conservative politics? People began connecting the text to Charlie Kirk's legacy, questioning whether her actions were personal, strategic, or something far more calculated. As online investigators dove into every post, comment, and thread, the story expanded beyond a private choice to a narrative involving political power, influence, and mysterious funding streams. And this is only the beginning, because the messages are just one layer of a story that grows more complex with every passing day. Microhook, that the texts aren't the only thing turning heads. Erika's public persona is raising even more questions. Over the past year, Erika has been unmistakably vocal about Israel. During a December 2025 town hall on CBS News, she didn't just defend Israel. She framed her argument with fierce personal intensity. She condemned anti-Semitism, repeatedly stressing that Jew hate is brain rot, and argued that conservatives need to better communicate Israel's significance to younger Americans, who often view the country negatively. Supporters saw this as a reflection of her moral convictions. Critics, however, read between the lines. They asked why Erika, whose political identity was closely tied to her late husband, feels such a deep personal connection to Israel. And then the leaked texts entered the picture, prompting even more speculation. Could her public statements be motivated by a personal, private journey no one knew about? Was there more behind her passionate defense than evangelical Christian values or political alignment? The narrative was starting to twist, and social media users began connecting dots that had never been publicly visible. But her connection to Israel might run even deeper than anyone expected, and that's where the past starts to matter. Years earlier, Charlie Kirk spoke about traveling to Israel with Erika during their marriage, describing the journey as deeply spiritual. He framed it within the context of Christian Zionism, a movement in which many evangelical Christians passionately support Israel because of their religious beliefs. On paper, Erika's pro-Israel stance fits neatly into that tradition. A supportive spouse, aligned with her husband's worldview, defending Israel in public. It all makes sense. But the alleged leaked texts have disrupted that narrative. Now people online are asking whether Erika's commitment to Israel was more personal, perhaps even religious, rather than just political. When you add her rapid rise after Charlie's death, her public advocacy begins to take on new layers of meaning. Suddenly, what seemed like standard political alignment appears intertwined with private convictions and an emerging story of influence and legacy. And as the speculation deepens, one question becomes unavoidable. What was the true motivation behind her vocal presence in conservative politics? And just as people were questioning motivations, the investigation shifted to the money, TPUSA's finances, and that's when things got far more complicated. Turning Point USA, the organization Charlie Kirk founded, is a powerhouse in conservative youth politics. Over the years, it has raised tens of millions of dollars from donors nationwide. But as the leaked text circulated, online investigators dug deeper into TPUSA's finances. Political nonprofits often receive donations from large supporters and anonymous sources. While legal, this makes it difficult to fully trace every dollar. The scrutiny revealed anomalies, missing 990 forms for affiliated entities like Turning Point Endowment, Turning Point Action, and America's Turning Point. Only TPUSA's main form was publicly posted. Critics claimed this lack of transparency was intentional, sparking speculation that funds might be flowing in ways not fully disclosed. Theories proliferated online, linking potential donors to international interests, including Israel, though no concrete evidence exists. Suddenly, Erika's private messages and public stance were being analyzed alongside tens of millions in political donations, creating a narrative that blends secrecy, power, and influence. Microhook, and then Erika's role in the organization became impossible to ignore. Following Charlie Kirk's sudden death in September 2025, Erika took on a much more visible role. She became CEO of Turning Point USA, appearing in interviews, panels, and political events at a pace that left the public and critics scrambling. Almost overnight, she transformed from Charlie's wife into one of the most prominent faces in conservative politics. Supporters praised her for stepping up during a tragic moment, emphasizing continuity and resilience. Critics, however, questioned the rapid rise, suggesting it gave her extraordinary influence over the organization and the legacy of her late husband. Every decision she made, every public statement, began to be scrutinized through the lens of leaked texts, funding controversies, and speculation about her private beliefs. Erika's ascent wasn't just leadership, it became part of a larger story of power, loyalty, and the fragility of public perception. Microhook. But some of the internet's wildest theories were just getting started. Once the speculation hit social media, the story morphed into something far wilder. TikTok accounts and conspiracy forums began labeling Erika a Mossad agent, claiming she had been secretly managing Charlie's operations and coordinating with Israeli intelligence. There is no credible evidence to support these claims, but they spread like wildfire, amplified by curiosity and outrage. Viral clips dissected her statements, interviews, and social media posts, framing them as secretive signals to global powers. At the same time, her comments about being the sole provider for her children triggered backlash. Critics argued that her narrative seemed to downplay the organization her late husband built, turning public perception into yet another battleground. Each rumor, each clip, each whisper added tension to the story. Erika Kirk wasn't just a political figure anymore. She was the center of an online storm where perception and reality collided. Microhook. And behind the scenes, not everyone at TPUSA was on board with her rise. Staff departures began quietly after Erika assumed leadership. Longtime employees, once visible in TPUSA events and media, suddenly disappeared. Some reports suggest internal disagreements over her direction and interpretation of Charlie Kirk's legacy led to resignations or strategic removals. While turnover is common in political organizations, the timing and opacity fueled further speculation. Online theorists began connecting these exits to leaked texts and Erika's Israel-focused advocacy. Was it a coincidence, or was there an internal struggle masked by public calm? The online discussion blurred lines between fact, rumor, and narrative, and every new claim fed the cycle. TPUSA became more than an organization. It became a story of hidden power dynamics, a microcosm for online speculation about influence, loyalty, and control. Microhook. With every rumor and every departure, the story keeps growing, and the big question remains: what happens next? The future of this story is uncertain. Are the leaked texts authentic? Will TPUSA clarify its finances and donor identities to quiet speculation? Or will more rumors emerge as Erika continues to step further into the political spotlight? One thing is undeniable. Erika Kirk has become one of the most scrutinized names in conservative politics. Every interview, every speech, every public appearance is dissected online. If credible documents or further leaks ever surface, the internet will erupt again. And even without new evidence, the story continues to evolve, fueled by curiosity, speculation, and the very public role Erika now plays. This isn't just a political narrative. It's a lesson in how influence, secrecy, and perception collide in real time, leaving the world watching and wondering what's real, what's exaggerated, and what could come next. One fact remains clear. Erika Kirk is a figure at the center of a storm that refuses to die. The online conversation is just getting started, and the next chapter is anyone's guess.